Welcome back 3D design students. In this video I'm going to show you how to use procedural techniques to create a water element for your scene. And this is going to be driven entirely by a Arnold water map. It's actually called water, and an Arnold material. So if you have a depression in your plane like I do here, then you can create another plane that will act as your water plane and just place it sort of below the ground so it fills the depression, and that's what I've done here. I've given the water plane 30 width and height segments, so the displacement map will have something to work with. And I've turned on shading in the viewport. I haven't added any Arnold lights or anything like that yet, so we'll do that in just a little bit. But let's go ahead and select the plane after you create it, place it in your depression, and then select it and assign a new material. This is going to be an AI standard surface material, and we're going to name it water. And then we're going to open the Hypershade material editor, and we're going to find the water material, right click on it, and show the graph network. And here's what we have so far. And you can see here's the SG node displayed for you right here, and here's the displacement node off of that. So come over here to the search bar and type in water, and you will find the water node. If you click it, and you'll see here that it has a texture already assigned to it. And this is what it looks like. And it has lots of different settings here. Let's connect the out alpha node here to the displacement node for our plane. And then we can close this for a minute. And here's our plane. And then we need to find the shape node for the plane. Open up the Arnold rollout, scroll down, and under subdivisions, change from none to Cat Clark, and give it 4 divisions. And then let's scroll down, and under displacement, maybe change this to 1, and change this to 0.5. Now we can't see anything happening here because we don't have Arnold turned on. So let's go ahead and create an Arnold physical sky. And then let's open the Arnold render view. And go ahead and render this out, and you can clearly see that the water plane we have is displaced all the way up in the sky here. That's because of the displacement. You can also see that if we zoom out some more, that it's gotten really crazy. So we need to adjust our settings. So the first thing I'm going to do is select my water plane and come to the height of the displacement here, change that to 0.1. And then I'm going to take my plane in the viewport here and move it down so that it's filling up my depression. And you can see that it's now there. So now we need to work on the material itself, the displacement material itself here, to reduce the wave height and frequency. So let's work on the material by finding it in the attributes editor. You can scroll over and find the water material node. Then we can click this little button here to take us to the SG node. And if we click this, it will take us to the water settings. We don't have to go into the Hypershade, and we can see what we're doing here. So let's start by increasing the number of waves. And let's increase the wave time. Well, that actually doesn't increase the waves, that just makes them move. And you can, I suppose you could animate that. Let's decrease the wave amplitude a little bit. That's the height of it. And let's increase the wave frequency. We definitely need to increase that. That should give us many more smaller waves, which would be appropriate for what we have, at least what I have. And then we can increase the smoothness and decrease the amplitude even more. And what you're looking for is sort of a subtle effect here. And now we need to work on the actual material a little bit. Our water needs to be transparent. It is currently not. So let's go back to the material, and we're going to turn the color weight all the way down. We don't want any color on this for now. And we're going to turn the specular roughness all the way up because we want it to be very reflective. And under transmission, we're going to make that weight very high because we want it to be transparent. And here, under color, is where you can give it some sort of, water lakey color. So let me zoom in on my water a little bit here. And you just need to kind of play around with these settings to get the look you want. I need to work on my wave height, I think. The amplitude. It's going to be a process. So here's what I decided on. Your settings are going to be very different. It all depends on the size of your plane. I upped my color quite a bit and changed it, and then on the SG node, on the water map itself, I had to end up with a 0.1 for amplitude, and I had to jack the frequency up even more. Now remember, you can always change the range of this. I could enter 30 and have more of a range, but I decided that looked good. And yeah, you just got to play around with it to get a good look. Now, if there was more to reflect here, it would look a lot better. I'm going to try and find my skybox texture with some clouds and put it in there, and then I'll show you when I find it. I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, so here's what I ended up with. I realized that I had my roughness all the way up. I should have actually had it all the way down so it's totally reflective. And you can see my wave magnitude right here. You can also see that the water is very transparent and very reflective now. And if we play around with these colors and the weight of the color and all of that, you can get a really good look. So you just got to play around with this and get the look you want. I'm going to continue working on mine, and I will come back and show you before we go what it looks like. So here's what I ended up with. A couple of settings you might want to play around with. I want to show you how low my wave amplitude is here. I also had to increase my frequency quite a bit. There's also this sub-wave frequency because water in waves sort of usually goes in two different directions. But you want to be careful with these so you don't end up with a repeating pattern so it looks like it's tiling. But this is what I ended up with, and when you're done with yours, I expect you to give me a render of your scene, something like this, and turn it into the water part of this assignment. And I'll see you in the next video.